Questions 11 through 20 of the 1999 Grade 8 Gauss Math Contest is what I will cover. Which of the following numbers is an odd integer, contains the digit 5, is divisible by 3, and lies between 12 squared and 13 squared? Alright, let's go through these criteria one at a time. The first one is odd integer. I believe this is odd, not odd. Alright, so we eliminated C. Now, which contains the digit 5? This one does, this one does not. This one does, and that one does. Alright. Is divisible by 3. Is 105 divisible by 3? I believe it is. That's 35. How about 165? Is that divisible by 3? 55. So yes. And 175, is that divisible by 3? And no, because it's 58 point something, 0.3. So that gets rid of E. So we're down to A and D. Final criteria is between 12 squared and 13 squared. 12 squared, of course, is 144. 13 squared is 169. So which of these numbers is between 144 and 169? And of course the answer is D. If n plus 1999 over 2 is equal to negative 1, what is the value of n? So let's solve for this. You multiply 2 by negative 1, cross multiply, and that will give you negative 2. And then bring the 1999 over to the other side like that. And that would give you n is equal to negative 2001. So the answer would be A. The expression n exclamation mark means the product of the positive integers 1 to n. For example, 5 exclamation mark is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5. What is the value of 6 exclamation mark minus 4 exclamation mark? Well, for those of you who haven't learned this, this is known as factorial. And this is very famous in math contest world. And 5 factorial, for example, is equal to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, like that. So they're asking 6 factorial minus 4 factorial. So first just do 6 factorial. 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And then subtract from that 4 factorial, which would be 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. This whole big thing becomes 720. And this is 24. So 720 minus 24 is 696. So the answer would be E. ABC is an isosceles triangle in which angle A is 92, which they have labeled. And CB is extended to point D. What is the angle ABD? So this one right here. Alright, so we'll label that Y. And we know that ABC is isosceles. They've told us that. So I'm assuming, based on the diagram, that these two sides are the same. And therefore, these two angles would be the same, like that. Alright, so ABC, we know that the sum of the angles are going to be 180, as always. So 92 plus x is 180. And if you solve for this, you'll get 88, I believe. And therefore, x is equal to 88 divided by 2, or 44. So now, if we look at this part here, you'll see that the angles x and y, because they're on the same line, they will add up to 180. So y plus x is equal to 180. And therefore, y plus 44 is 180, so y is equal to 136. So the answer here would be D. The graph shown at the right indicates the time taken by 5 people to travel various distances. On average, which person travels the fastest? All right, so speed is equal to distance divided by time. And that's what they've labeled in this diagram. Distance here, time there. So let's go through the 5 people and figure out the speed for each. So A is Allison. Her speed is distance, which is 1, over the time, which is 20. So 1 kilometer over 20 minutes. And that is 0.05. All right? So we'll do this for each of these. And the person that has the greatest speed is the fastest. So next one is Bina. Hers is 1 for this distance and 50 for the time. And this is 0.02, like that. Curtis, 3 for the distance and 30 for the time. This is equal to 0.1. Danielle is 5 for the distance and 50 for the time, so this would be 0.1. And finally, Emily is 5 for the distance and 20 for the time, and this is equal to 0.25. So of these, which is the greatest? It's 0.25, and therefore Emily is the fastest. So choice E. In a set of 5 numbers, the average of 2 numbers is 12, and the average of the other 3 numbers is 7. The average of all 5 is. All right, so let's let the numbers be A, B, C, D, and E. The average of 2 numbers is 12, so that means A plus B over 2 is 12. And therefore A plus B is equal to 24. And then the average of the other 3 numbers, these ones, is 7. So that means C plus D plus E divided by 3 is 7. And therefore C plus D plus E is equal to 21. Now we want the average of all 5, which would be A plus C plus D plus E divided by 5. And we know A plus B is 24, so this becomes 24. And we know that C plus D plus E is 21, so this becomes 21, like that. And therefore 21 plus 24 is 45 divided by 5, and this is equal to 9. So the average of all 5 numbers is 9. So the answer here is 16 is C. In the subtraction question, 1957 minus A9 is equal to 18B8. The sum of the digits A plus B is, so find A plus B. All right, let's just keep going with the basics here. We can't subtract 9 from 7, so we've got to carry the 1, bring a 1 over. And that's how we get 8. But if you bring the 1 over, this becomes a 4. And then 4 minus A is equal to B, supposedly. But if we did that, then how would we get 18, right? This has to come down. So it looks like you probably had to carry the 1 like that and then made this into an 8. So therefore, 14 minus A is how you got B. And if you put A over to the other side, you get 14 is equal to A plus B. And that's basically what they're asking. And if you do a little bit of inspection here, you'll find that A is actually equal to 6. And therefore, 1957 minus 69 becomes 1888. And therefore, B is equal to 8. And A plus B is 14 again. So In both ways, we get 14. So the answer for number 17 is B. The equilateral triangle has sides of 2x and x plus 15 as shown. The perimeter of the triangle is. So all sides are the same. That's what equilateral is referring to. So that means that 2x is equal to x plus 15. So let's solve for x, and we get 2x minus x is equal to 15, and therefore x is equal to 15. Now they want the perimeter, but don't make the mistake that was made by a lot of students, that you just go, oh, okay, x is 15, so the perimeter is 3 times 15, which is 45. That would be wrong, wrong, wrong. Why? Because each side is not 15, x is 15. Each side is 2x. So each side is equal to 2x, which is 2 times 15, which is 30. So therefore, the perimeter of the equilateral triangle would be 3 times 30, which is 90. And therefore, the answer for number 18 is C. In a traffic study, a survey of 50 moving cars is done, and it is found that 20% of these contain more than one person. Say I have 50 cars, 20% contain more than one person, so greater than or equal to 2 people. And 20% of 50 is 0.2 times 50, which is equal to 10. So that means of all the cars containing only one person, which would be 50 minus 10, 60% of these are driven by women. So of these 40 cars, 60% are women. So that's 0.6 times 40, and that would equal 24. And if 60% are women, then the 40% are men. So the remaining 16 of the 40 are men. So these are women, and these are men. Of the cars containing just one person, so these ones, one person only, how many were driven by men? All right, well, we figured it out. It's 16. So 19 would be B. A game is played on the board shown. In this game, a player can move 3 places in any direction, up, down, right, or left, and then can move 2 places in a direction perpendicular to the first move. If a player starts at S, which position on the board, P, Q, R, T, or W, cannot be reached through any sequence of moves? All right, let's see one at a time where we can go. So we start at S, move 3 places in any direction. So let's go 3 places up. 1, 2, 3. Then move 2 places in a direction perpendicular to the first move. So 1, 2. So I reach P. So P I can reach. Great. So P is possible. Now let's go in another direction. Let's go from S 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, like that. And then, just like the question says, 2 places in a direction perpendicular to the first move. Going upward, we would reach R. So R is possible. Now let's see if we can reach any others. If we start at S and go up 3, then make a move perpendicular and move 2, then down 3, and then make a move that's perpendicular and move 2 to the right, we'll reach W. So W is possible. So now we are down to the last 2, T and Q. Which of these can be reached and which of these cannot be reached? So let's start at S again. Move up 3, move to the right 2, move down 3, move to the right 2, and then now I am allowed to go 3 places in any direction, up, down, right, or left. So I'll go 3 left, and then finally 2 places upward. Now, this question, I spent a lot of time on this question because this part really confused me, perpendicular to the first move, because watch what happens when you go from here to here, right? Right there. Is that perpendicular to the first move? It is not. It's parallel to the first move. What I think is that they should have written move 2 places in a direction perpendicular to the previous move. The word previous instead of first. Otherwise, I have no idea how you get to Q. I can do it if the answer is previous, because watch very carefully. I'll do it again. You've got S going 3 up, then 2 across, 3 down, 2 across, and then back 3 this way, and then I'm going perpendicular to the previous move by going up 2. But I'm not perpendicular to the first move, I'm parallel to the first move. So I really think that this word right here, first, should be previous. Otherwise, I really don't know how to get to Q. But in any case, T is the one that you cannot reach. So the answer is D.